Hey, what's up, guys? Dr. Brandon Schreiner here, and special guest, Dr. Samantha Schreiner. And this is your tip of the week, every single week, looking to bring hope, health, and wholeness to you and your family so you can live to your God-given potential. And so each and every week is just a blessing to do that. Very special tip of the week this week. One, I have my beautiful wife, Dr. Samantha, who is really rare on these. But then we also have our newest addition to the family, little baby Hendrix, was born in our home last Saturday, a whopping 9 pounds, 5 ounces. And so some of you are probably thinking, oh my goodness, well, baby was born at home, no drugs, no nothing naturally. How do you do that? To be honest with you, I don't know how my wife does that. She's just amazing, and women are amazing. But we want to talk about why it is, give you 3 things as to why it is that your kids need to be not just checked for neurological stress, but under regular chiropractic care just for the rest of their life. And so the first thing that we want to talk about is the birthing process itself. And we don't have a whole lot of time to go into why it is that we choose a birth process, but I think, Sam, you'll probably agree with me that the birthing process in a hospital, or just the birthing process in general, can be I wouldn't say a rough process at home, but when you give a mom an epidural and she can't feel anything, it kind of like doesn't allow her to push properly. And so when you don't have the feeling, which is super important, and you don't feel to push, doctors have to pull. And when they pull, they're not trying to hurt the baby. When they pull, they actually have to rotate the head to get the shoulders out. And so when they pull, they're creating a lot of subluxation and torquing up here. And so I feel like a home birth is more of kind of a hands-off experience. It's kind of like let your body do what it's meant to do. Do you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, you have to trust the process, trust that God put the amazing ability for women to have babies inside of us. And so I never really even had to push. I know people talk about pushing, but my body did the work for itself. So that's why we have contractions.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting too, because we don't really have a due date either. I mean, our midwife is kind of like, hey, I feel like the baby's going to come today, but one of the worst things you can ever do is put a due date in your head, because you automatically think baby should come. And then if baby doesn't come on your timeline or the doctor's timeline, then they'll force that baby out by inducing mom. And whenever you induce a mommy, a lot of times you don't, the baby's not ready to come out yet. Baby will come out when baby wants to come out. And so talk about this, Sam, talk about this, baby's getting too big, and so therefore we got to get that baby out.
I mean, both my first 2 were 7 pound 8 ounces and 7 pounds 13 ounces. So to have a 2 pound jump, to the 9 pounds 5 ounces, that's a big jump. But if you allow the body to have the baby when it wants to and not try to force it out, then your body's going to open up. Your body's going to be able to have that baby. And that's what my body did, even though it wasn't used to having 9 pound babies.
I talked about this last week on fevers. Like, your body never looks to injure or harm itself. Like, I always think it's really interesting. Why would God put a baby in your belly in a process and a mom without, by doing something bad? Like, if baby's not ready to come out yet, baby's not ready to come out yet. So keep it on your timeline. So the birthing process can be a really rough process. And if the birthing process is a rough process and baby won't come out, like you have to do a C-section, Dr. Tobin, one of the leading OBGYNs at Harvard research, 120 pounds of pressure at the brainstem, which is the upper cervical area of an infant, during a C-section birth, forceps vacuum extraction. So a lot of babies come into our office that were forceps vacuum C-section. They have colic, they have ear infections, they have problems nursing. And you can talk about this, Sam. I mean, nursing is just an amazing way for a mom and a baby to connect emotionally. And there is not one better nutrient in the world. And that's why God, obviously made moms to be able to breastfeed. So when a mom can't breastfeed, there's just a huge disconnect there. So checking babies after the birthing process, whether great or really bad, is vital for the neurological development of that spine. The second thing is just trips and falls. I think of Zeke, our middle child, and then our oldest son, Beckett. So it's kind of really quiet here in the house because they're with Grandma and Grandpa up in Michigan. But talk about Zeke and our middle child. He falls all the times. I mean, we're chiropractors, so we can check him and adjust him and make sure he's neurologically balanced. But kids fall 5,000 times just learning how to walk, and they fall on a spine that's cartilage. So if those bones shift out of place and nobody's there to put them back to where they need to be, and make sure that nervous system is clear, then the body will create compensation because the body is smart. And so if there's compensation, that can turn into headaches later on down the road. That can turn into asthma and allergies and all these things. So, Zeke is like, oh my goodness, he is the rumble tumble. He's kind of like, like Zeke Elliott. I mean, he's running around like just bulldozing people. So, trips and falls. The third thing is just immune system. Sam, talk about our kids' immune system, or just chiropractic kids' immune system and in general. When you look at a family that does things, they don't eat sugar, they exercise, they get their kids adjusted, they do these things naturally. We're gonna be exposed to the same type of toxins that you are. So are our kids, but chiropractic kids just bounce back quicker. I mean, you don't see chiropractic kids in the hospital taking medications. You'll see them get sick every once in a while, but their bodies are able to adapt and recover. Can you speak to that? I mean, obviously being a mom of three and seeing our kids and how they get the sniffles and things like that, but they bounce back so quickly. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to trusting that your body is doing the right thing and fighting off the infections. Mm-hmm. I know it can be scary as a parent, when your kid is sick or when they're running a high fever or, obviously not feeling well, but just, staying true to the path and the foundation, making sure that they're doing all the right things, and they've always healed. Their bodies killed off the bacteria, killed off the infection, and their immune system is actually stronger because of it, because they've been exposed to those things. So.
Yeah, I was talking about that last week and about fevers. It's like, man, this whole thing of natural immunity is so awesome, and I think that's the reason why chiropractic kids are kids that are adjusted and then living a lifestyle where they're exposed to germs and toxins. And I joke that as soon as our kids are born, I take them outside and I kind of drag them in the dirt so they can kind of get bacteria and stuff in their mouth. But that is natural immunity. And so getting your kids checked at birth, regardless if they've had a traumatic birth or not, just helps with removing that interference so the brain can correctly communicate with the rest of the body: sinuses, ears, eyes, throat, immune system, ear infections, asthma, and then the trips and falls. I mean, I started playing Pee Wee football when I was third grade. I was a heavy hitter. My brother was a heavy hitter, and I was a high school quarterback, and then I had neck surgery at 19, or 20, I can't remember what it was. And so I think a lot of the reasons why my neck looked and did what it did was because of just the wear and tear, and just the lack of me getting adjusted as a kid. My mom didn't know that. And so, now that you're listening in, now you know the truth. And so take massive action. If you know anything about our office right now, we have our organic canned food drive. Bring in 10 canned foods, and you and your family get a new patient appointment for just $45. And so, hey, it's always a blessing to bring hope, health, and wholeness to you and your family so you can live to your God-given potential. Hopefully we'll be able to see more of my wife on these as we go through this process. But hey, give our office a call, 614-781-8808 if you have any questions or concerns. Until next week, we pray that you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.